What's up, friends? Today we're checking out Home by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zone, what has been deemed by the internet the worst song ever made. I don't think it's the worst song ever made. Worst songs ever made don't become hits. I wanted to defend it a little bit, analyze it. It's not my favorite song ever. I don't think it's great, but I think it's good. It's good enough to become a hit, and it's a lot like a lot of other catchy songs. I think it's weird how people are like, this song good, this song bad, when like a few years have passed by. It's another, attempt to downgrade millennial culture and to really take a hit at the neo-folk revival movement that was happening in the late aughts, early 2010s. So let's talk about the song, how it fits culturally. Let's just go over a few things going on with the song that I like, because I don't like everything about the song. I'm going to be honest, but I think there's some good stuff to it. This is probably my favorite part of the song, is the whistle at the beginning and the huh, because the huh sound like the big old huh with like a group vocal was a really popular thing to do at this period in this kind of revivalist folk movement. You'd see it in a lot of Lumineers songs. I don't think they ever did it with Mumford & Sons, but it was something that you heard quite a bit of. It's energetic, it's fun. The whistle, it just has a really good melody. And it's the chorus melody, but it sounds good on a whistle. And the guitar chugging is nice. It sounds fun, it sounds interesting. It works for the genre, And the whistle actually sounds hecka clean. Like, that's a really good sounding whistle. Almost sounds like they put some sort of nice effect on it, maybe a little bit of distortion. Man, oh man, you're my best friend. I'm screaming too. There's nothing there. Okay, looking at the verse, it's a lot of either really cheesy or very nonsensical lyrics. And there was a lot of that going on at this time. Again, that was kind of a hallmark of this movement. You see it in Riptide. There's just words in there that are just thrown in for fun and that just have kind of a fun vibe to them. I think this was partially influenced because, of course, like this folk revival movement is definitely influenced by music from the early 60s, right? And because that's where folk rock really starts to take a hold. But it's also influenced by the work of the Beatles. The Beatles used a lot of nonsense lyrics, and they also had a lot of songs with really, really cheesy lyrics. When I'm 64 being a prime example of a song with a lot of really cheesy lyrics. And so that's kind of where the bones of that is coming from. I hesitate. I think it's... You use cheesy lyrics at your own peril, My very first album, which I still have up, but it's not that good, has a lot of cheesy lyrics to it. So I understand the desire to do it, but you gotta have some sort of hesitation there. I don't think this sounds bad. I think the vocals sound good and they're interesting. I really like the vocal fry and the sound of desperation that the female vocal has, especially as it's getting toward more of the top of the range. In terms of melody, it's pretty basic. Like you're just going first to third. It's like that little interval over and over again in a pretty cliche almost pattern. But I think this song is supposed to be cheesy. It's supposed to be cliche. Like it wasn't written with that, like against that. It was going against things that weren't cliche. It was going to a more simplified approach in folk songwriting. Like that was the purpose here. That was the intention. There's a lot of really cool things going on in those pianos and how they have this kind of call and response with the main vocal line. It just sounds excellent. I think this is, again, one of the best parts of the song. This and the whistle are just really cool. That horn part is just sick. That was one thing that was cool about this era of music is horns started becoming more used, especially in like folk rock. You heard it in like a Monsters and Men as well. And it just sounds good. Horns on folk music. Sue me. I think it's a fun sound. It's really different. And again, this is coming from that 60s Beatles influence thing that's reviving some of that Baroque pop feel into music. There was a big 60s revivalist thing going on in this period, just in general, especially in the folk rock genre, but in general, it was very popular. It's weird talking to younger friends now. They don't know some of these 60s group who you consider iconic. Like, people didn't know who Bob Dylan was, which blew my mind because in my age group, everyone knows who Bob. Maybe you guys are like, who the heck's Bob Dylan? Why does he matter? Like, he's hugely influential as a songwriter. So. Yeah, that having the vocal join in on the horn part too, and this big gang vocal, la la la, coming home. It's a really good vocal performance, and it just sounds good. It fits really well within the context of the song. Good part of the song. Good part of the song for sure. That's true. So this second verse is very similar to the first verse. If anything, I would just say that the singing just gets worse in the second verse. Like, it just doesn't sound great in the second verse. I'll give you that. You got that one on me. The singing doesn't sound great in the second verse. Yeah, whenever they get to the verses on this song, even when it was big, I was always like, these verses aren't great.
Well, there's something I never told you about that night. Why did you tell me? While you were sitting in the back seat.
Yeah, that part's sweet. That's cute. And it's also comes from a long history of kind of these talk portions in the middle of songs. You see a lot in country music. It's also very much of the style and time in terms of like the subject matter they're talking about. A lot of reverb and effects on the vocals there. I almost wish that was taken off a little bit so there was a little bit more clarity, but they're going for their style.
Let me come home. Home is wherever I'm with you.
Yeah, that portion's really cool. I like when people take a chorus, strip it down to its, simpler forms, and then do it that way. There's a lot of really cool examples of it throughout pop music. I've done it myself on songs of mine like High on the Mountaintops. It's effective, and it draws things back, especially when we've had big choruses this entire time. Then we got a stripped chorus. Gotta love piano. The piano's well recorded. The ending's a little weak, it's a little rambly, but it also just feels like a party, which is kind of what they were going for, right? They were trying to just celebrate life, have a party, be in love. Simpler time. Not that much simpler. There's still the internet and Facebook and stuff, which is crazy. This like kind of anti-technological, anti-perfection movement, which is what you're hearing with like a lot of the vocal takes too, right? Like, this is when people really were rejecting auto-tune and any pitch correction in music. And it was a big deal. It was like, don't you dare pitch correct my vocals type of vibe. Where now, if people aren't doing it, they're just doing so many vocal takes that it will sound perfect because they've done like 7 or 8 vocal takes. It's very rare that you have someone do one take and be perfect. And this pursuit of imperfections was a really common thing in this period of musical history. There you go. There's some context of the rejection going on here. There's some good things about the song. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts. Maybe they've helped you enjoy the song a little more. If you found my thoughts valuable in any way, or if you disagree with me just entirely, you just think the song is the worst thing ever put out, which I think that's a really intense claim. Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I got a Patreon. You can find a link to it in the comment section. Thanks so much. Oh, I put up music all the time too. If you like this types of folks music, I have a folk emo album that I put out called Bashing My Head Through a Wall that you can check out. It's pretty dang good. I'm just going to recommend that there. Even though I should be recommending my new song I put out this week, I'm gonna recommend bashing my head through a wall for this. Thanks so much. Catch you on the flip.
The newer lives of Hollywood. What would Jesus think of me? I'm barely getting by in this crazy world.